Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I want to talk about physical healing and how it relates to mind-body healing. For those of you who've been following me for a long time, years maybe, probably not many of you, you'll know that I started out this channel talking about physical health. I have done everything in regards to physical health, so I feel like I know physical health inside and out. When it comes to diet, detoxing, protocol supplements, I've got that all in my back pocket. I don't spend a lot of time talking about physical healing anymore because I really focus on mind-body healing, which is where the root of true healing normally exists, and the feelings and the emotions that stay trapped in our body exist. But I have recently been thinking a lot, like, why aren't I talking about physical healing on my channel anymore? Don't I believe that's important? And I want to reiterate that I absolutely 100% think that physical healing is important and that it is fine to do that alongside mind-body healing. A lot of people think it's one or the other. Like, if you believe in mind-body healing, then it means your mind can do anything and you don't need to do any physical healing. And if you do, there's something wrong with your resolve or your mind, or it's a distraction or whatever. And I don't believe that. I absolutely don't believe that. There's a line, and I want to talk about that line today. I want to talk about how I feel about physical, and maybe this will give you some insight, because a lot of people get stuck on that. Especially in the world of things like, fragmentation work and soul retrieval work and TMS work. And, there's a lot of, different works that suggest that you should abandon all physical healing because you don't believe strongly enough that your mind is behind all this. And it can leave a conflict within people. And that's part of the problem. So if you have a conflict about the fact that, I feel like physical healing is important, but I'm not supposed to think that physical healing is important because I'm supposed to be trusting and believing and put all my faith into mind-body healing. And if I can only work and feel my emotions and resolve my root issues and feelings, then my physical body will heal as a process of that. And while that is true, and while I believe that, the part that is something that we all need to look at is that if you feel conflict about that, meaning you're not sure, but you think you should be sure, that is conflict, and that's tension in your body, and that's the exact thing that you're trying to get rid of in order to heal, right? It's these inner conflicts that drive the emotional tension that keeps our physical body sick. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. What has to be is that you have to feel no conflict about it. You have to feel good about it. So if you're told to take supplements and you have a conflict in your deep inner being that maybe this isn't the right supplement to take, maybe this supplement is going to hurt me, I'm afraid of this supplement, that's a conflict, right? So that's something that you shouldn't be doing. When it comes to diet, and you are thinking that you should be on a certain diet, everyone says this is the diet you need to heal on, but you have questions in the back of your mind that keep popping up. What if this food is going to hurt me? Or maybe I should be eating this. I should be expanding my diet. Maybe I'm not getting enough nutrients with this restricted diet. Then that's a conflict that you literally need to be listening to, or it keeps you stuck and sick. If you have muscle pain and you feel like you want to massage it or do some deep body work or or you have pain and you want to do an enema to release some of the toxicity in your body or something, but you're thinking, I shouldn't be doing this because I really need to focus on my mind-body tension, but the back of your mind keeps telling you, just lie on the back or stretch this muscle, but you keep ignoring that need of yours, that's causing conflict and that's causing tension. So this is very subtle in the fact that both are important. I mean, you don't have to do everything right in every area in order to heal, but you have to be at peace with it in your own heart. So I believe that you do have to have a diet that's on point. On point with what? On point with what you believe. On point with what makes sense to you. On point with real food that comes from the earth. And sometimes these diets can get a little carried away, where you're already eating a bounty full of real food from the earth. And, you're caught between whether I should include nuts and seeds or whether I shouldn't include nuts and seeds, whether I should include sulfur vegetables, whether I shouldn't include sulfur. It gets very confusing, and this is the conflict that the actual diet is creating in you. It's causing more conflict than it's causing healing, right? So same with, physical body work or protocols. I mean, if doing them is causing you conflict, like I shouldn't be doing them, maybe this is hurting me, then that's like something that you need to resolve. It's the actual healing techniques and methods themselves that can be causing you severe conflict within your body. If you think you're supposed to be doing something, but it doesn't feel exactly right to you, or if you feel like you should be doing something, but you feel guilty for wanting to do that thing because it doesn't fit with what you overall believe or what the people who have healed believed, whatever, that's the conflict again. So I know this video is confusing, and that's because healing is confusing. And if you go round and round in circles on things like this, then this is the conflict. This is the conflict. This might be the exact conflict that's keeping you sick. The conflict of wanting to heal perfectly, needing to do it right, wanting to be able to have an exact answer and the exact right diet and the exact right protocol and the exact right physical healing modalities and the exact right supplements. And that can take people away from emotional healing. And they don't see that they actually need emotional healing because the very diets and supplements and protocols that they're doing is actually causing internal conflict that needs to be healed at an emotional root level. That conflict needs to be healed, right? And thus far, for people who are doing emotional healing and they feel like they should be also incorporating physical healing, but they don't want to be a disbeliever, or that somehow lessening them as a spiritual, or it's invalidating what they think if they go ahead and do that, that's also causing conflict within the being, and that might be the very thing that needs to be healed. So why do some people heal with diet alone or exercise alone or physical modalities alone? And it's so confusing. It's because they're at peace with that. They go off and they do that diet and they feel good about it. They actually enjoy it. They feel like they're being nourished. They feel at a deep, deep emotional level that they're doing the right thing, that this diet is working for them, that it's nurturing and nourishing them, and they feel amazing about the changes that they've made. And that feeling is the feeling of healing. So therefore they heal because they don't have inner conflict about it, right? Or when people go off and do mind-body healing and it works for them right away, it's because they feel no conflict about dropping all the physical healing modalities. They feel right. It feels right. They have nothing in the back of their mind nagging at them. They go with it fully, openly, and they believe it. But you can't force yourself to be one of those people. You can't force yourself to believe something, to follow a diet, or to do the mind-body healing if in the back of your mind there is a nagging voice. There is something that needs your attention. There is something that requires emotional healing. There's an element of tension, and there's an element of maybe this isn't right, and that's the exact feeling that needs to be healed. The thing that needs to be healed is like, I don't believe in myself. I don't trust in myself. I'm not listening to myself. I'm invalidating my own feelings. I'm believing other people instead of my own thoughts and intuitions. I'm listening to other people over my body, right? Over my own intuitions, over my own messages that either your physical body or your mental chatter mind is giving you, or your emotional soul level is giving to you. So it's when we ignore these messages and when we don't feel at peace with ourselves that we actually feel that inner tension, because we're at war with ourselves. We're not listening to ourselves. We're abandoning ourselves. We're literally saying other people know more, or I don't want to hear you. That doesn't fall into what I want to do. Please go away. Please shut up. Please don't nag at me. Please, I don't want that little voice saying, but what if, but I should be doing this, but I should be doing this, but I shouldn't be doing this. We want it to go away so we can just plow ahead, bulldoze through and do the healing work, whether it's physical or emotional or spiritual, and do it the way we see that we want to do it and want to heal and get better. But we never will if we carry that tension and doubts with us. So it's only if you can be at peace, true peace, not by forcing yourself to be at peace with something that isn't quite right for you, but it's finding peace within that, like allowing that voice to come up. Like, yes, I believe in this diet, but I'm going to add this food, or my body wants to do this, or change, or go in a different direction, and we just allow it. We listen to it, we follow it, and then we find this like inner resonance and peace because we're listening to ourselves. Or maybe you're doing mind-body healing, but there's a physical thing that you think deep down that you should be doing, which you're abandoning because you're listening to other people, and you want to do it, or you want to try it, and you want to do it alongside it, and maybe that doesn't go with the theory that you're following. But when we examine that conflict and that tension, and we just go with what we trust in our own messages, we feel at peace in what our own body is calling us to do, our own mind, our own soul, and we do it, the conflict diminishes, and therefore we can have that healing feeling. And when we get the feeling, when we have the healing feeling, when we feel less at war with ourselves, when we feel less conflict within our own being about the healing itself, we can get the healing of feeling, and then we can actually heal. So I believe that physical and emotional healing are at play in order to heal the whole body. And why wouldn't it be? You are a physical being. You are a spiritual being. You are mind, body, and soul. You are one. It is one. It's one thing. You have to take care of all of it. And when you get these voices, when you get these messages, when you get these feelings, intuitions, whatever you want to call them, and you ignore them because it's not what you should be doing, it doesn't fall in line with who you're following, it conflicts with the messages that you're getting from experts or gurus or a tribe that you may belong to or subscribe to, you're going against the very thing that needs to be looked at and healed, which is that you're not trusting yourself, you don't believe in yourself, you're maybe not meeting your own self needs, you're not meeting your own needs, you're not loving yourself at a deep level, you're abandoning yourself, you're not showing yourself complete and 100% unconditional self-love. And that's what it takes in order to heal. That is why some people magically heal doing certain things, because they have the feeling of healing. They feel at peace. They don't bring that conflict. But if you are the type of person who thinks of everything and you can't come to peace to anything, then this is the area that you actually need to do the healing in, right? It's an emotional healing in order to come to the perspective that this is why you may not be healing. And then you need to do the emotional work to uncover all that. So it might not even be a physical thing that you need to do. Like maybe you keep having these premonitions that you should be, let's just say, doing enemas every day. Let's just say that, right? but you're resisting it and you don't want to, and what if this and what if that, but it might not even be the enema itself that you need to do. So when you do the enema, you start to feel better, but it's not because of the enema itself, it's because you listened to yourself. It's because you validated your own feeling. But then maybe it confuses you, and that's not what you needed to do, so you get confused and you don't follow your mind with other protocols. But it's not the protocol itself often. Sometimes it is. Sometimes your message is giving you a clear indication of what you want and need. Other times it is just saying, listen to me. I might be wrong. I might be right. I'm not perfect. But I want to know that you're with me. I want to know that you stand behind me. I want to know that you trust me, that you're not going to abandon me, that you will listen to me. Right? So it's a matter of showing your body trust over and over by listening, by following, by investigating, by making this tension and this conflict inside you diminish. And the only way we can do that is not by forcing ourselves to not have conflict. It's by actually realizing that there is conflict and then resolving it and then doing what we can to, do fragmentation work and call back the parts that are feeling isolated, rejected, abandoned, and disowned in that moment. And that's why emotional healing is key, because it's all happening at a root, emotional, deep level, this conflict. But physical healing is so important because you have a body and you have cells, and they also need food and energy and sunlight and sleep and diet, and they need to be nourished. But even if you're doing all that right, sometimes people don't heal because they carry the conflict with them, that inner conflict that isn't resolved. And that's why all healing is emotional at the root, and yet physical healing is important, and yet physical healing is also the root of part of it. So you can't disown one modality of healing in favor of another as well. That's also rejecting, denying, disowning a part of yourself, right? That your body does need more than just emotions, or does need more than just the physical. It needs both. So we stop denying and rejecting all of our needs, all of our emotional needs, all of our physical needs, all of our mental needs. We stop denying and disowning and rejecting and pushing away and looking away and wanting to change and wanting to make it be different. All these parts of ourselves that truly need something from you. Give yourself what you need. Don't be afraid to go against what someone else says, or even what your own self says, in order to give yourself what you need. Because what you want and what you need are often different. They often go together. And once you get what you need, you also often get what you want. But sometimes when you get what you want, you don't always get what you need. So if that makes any sense, meet your needs first. Getting what you want will go hand in hand by meeting your own needs. But usually people are divided between what they want and what they need, and they think it's the same thing, and it's not. And getting what you need is the key. And that usually produces a happy ending where you also get what you want. I mean, I used to be a writer, so I would write movies, and I understand that the characters had a goal, they had a want, but it wasn't until they got what they needed on an emotional level, what they needed, that the whole story came together and that they actually could get what they wanted, right? But when you are only focused on what you want, sometimes you inadvertently do get what you need, but often you don't. And so you can't come to that conclusion. You can't wrap up the story. You can't get the happy ending without getting what you need. So this video has been long enough. I'm going to sign off. I hope it's been helpful. I hope it's given you some insight to just not abandon yourself, right? That will help the conflict. Give yourself what you need, and I hope it's been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.